Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we're doing the Brooklyn Nets off-season recap. So before we start today's video, I want to hear down below in the comment section, what do you guys think of the Brooklyn Nets and what they did this off-season? Let me hear those thoughts in the comment section. Like the video if you guys do enjoy this type of content, and subscribe for more basketball content. I don't like how many times that I said the word content right there, and now it just made me feel dumb. Either way, we're going to go ahead and talk about what they did this offseason. In a few weeks, we'll post their season predictions. And right now, this is a team that they have the full non-taxpayer mid-level exception and the biannual exception still available. Didn't really spend much money besides, obviously, the re-signing of Nick Claxton to a 4-year, $100 million deal, which I thought was a perfectly adequate deal. Was good value for Nick Claxton, who I believe is a top 15, arguably a top 10 center in the NBA. Now, we know this is a rebuild. They got rid of Mikal Bridges. They've gone for picks. I like bringing in Ziaire Williams and taking on Bojan Bogdanovic and just getting expiring salaries. You have Killian Hayes, who, whatever he is, maybe that works out. You still have Derek from last year's draft class. So if Whitehead, Noah Clowney looks great. So Whitehead, Noah Clowney, and Cam Thomas are guys you're going to, hope and see. From what I understand and what I've been told from people who have sources within the building, that they're going to ride out Ben Simmons' contract. It is what it is. I think Jalen Wilson is somebody to keep an eye on. I think he could be Jalen Wilson and Noah Clowney are the two guys that I think they really want to focus on their development. As you guys know, I really do believe Keon Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Dennis Schroeder are all guys that are going to probably be on the move. Same thing with Deron Sharp. And I've always said Deron Sharp, his per 36, his numbers are good. Like, this is a guy who averages 7 and 7. Could be, allegedly, as a starter, he would be a double-double guy. However, his whole rookie deal was just wasted away as a backup. They brought Shake Milton on that cheap sign-and trade as part of a salary filler to fulfill the Knicks trade. Ziaire Williams, they just took as a salary dump flyer. Keon Johnson, another guy that they're just taking a chance. For me, when I look at the current situation of the Brooklyn Nets, I really think it goes to show, all right, we need to figure out what players we want to keep. I think they're in a better position than the Portland Trailblazers. I mean, I guess the Portland Trailblazers have Shaedon Sharpe and they have Scoot Henderson. So, and they just drafted Donovan Clingham. But I do still believe that you're in a position where I find it tough to believe that the Nets aren't in a similar position. I think they really like Noah Clowney. I think they have a steal in Jalen Wilson. I'm a KU guy, so I went to the University of Kansas for my undergraduate. Even though I did my master's at the University of Miami, I'm doing my PhD now at the U. Still, rock chalk, baby, first and foremost. Your undergraduate always comes first. However, when I look at the rest of this Brooklyn Nets team, what am I thinking? I think this is what I think. Bojan Bogdanovic, the thought process is you probably just play him for the rest of the season. I doubt you keep him. Maybe you try to salary dump him for somebody, and you're trying to think of an egregious contract that could be a reclamation project. That's where you think of the D-Lo, but like why would that would have to be a 3-team trade. So you think of all those guys that are on limbo, the Jeremy Grants, the D-Los of the world. Watch Bojan Bogdanovic be dangled as a third team trade as a salary dump. And then you have Trendon Watford, who they brought in, and Ziaire Williams. I still like Trendon Watford. I think he's a solid role player in the NBA. Same thing with Shake Milton. Another Shake Milton probably a guy who will get traded, as he's somebody that people like as part of will value as part of the rotation. So that's just something to think about. Now, Bojan Bogdanovic with the Knicks last year was just a 10 point per game scorer. With the Pistons, he was a 20 points per game scorer. Now, the haul of the picks, 5 first rounders, 4 unprotected. They acquired in the Mikal Bridges deal. I think is the biggest thing because by regaining control of their 25 and 26 first rounders, Brooklyn could add a high lottery pick in each of the next 2 seasons. So now I think what we're looking at is Dorian Finney-Smith. And when you look at teams like the Cavaliers, maybe the Lakers, the Clippers, I'm trying to think of teams that have a real weakness at the wing that are championship caliber that have the salaries to match for Dorian Finney-Smith off the dome. Watch that. Cam Johnson. Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson are both been connected to the Cavs because the Cavs really just need a wing, kind of a combo forward. And they both can do that. I think Cam has 2 possibilities. I know from people, they say like they would never build around Cam because Cam's softer than Sharman, but no offense to them. Seems like a really nice guy. I believe the problem here is Smith has 2 years left on his contract, but a player option the following year, $15.4 million each year. Johnson has 3 years, $66 million, and one of the hindrances to a Johnson's trade is the $4.5 million unlikely bonuses in his contract. The incentives count toward the apron for any team looking to acquire him. Let me translate what that means. He would have to go to a rebuilding team that has excess salary cap. That's kind of where they're stuck at. So if we just real quickly just go to some salaries, I'm really thinking one of the teams that I really like the idea of a Cam Johnson going to is the San Antonio Spurs, and they're a team that I think would be fine with taking on his contract if they were to say move off, or another team would be like the Wizards. I just think the Wizards really are just trying to tank, and I don't know if they want to just taking on Atlanta. They might, if they can flip DeAndre. The thing is, who do you rather have, Cam Johnson or DeAndre Hunter? I kind of rather have DeAndre Hunter. So it becomes really difficult. Memphis is a team that could maybe get desperate where maybe they feel like, hey, if we package Brandon Clark and John Conchar and maybe another salary, they go after Cam Johnson and then salary filler or whatever. They could maybe think that's the move that they need to do, because then if you think John Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., Marcus Smart, Cam Johnson, it's a significantly better team. Dorian Finney-Smith, and the same thing goes Chicago. If Chicago is trying to salary dump, let's say Lonzo Ball, or even let's say a Zach LaVine, where they say, hey, we'll literally give you like 4 second-round picks. If you take Zach LaVine, give us either Ben Simmons or Bojan and Cam. Do you do it? I think you have to get more than those 4, but that's the whole idea. I think Cam is, so my head is Cam is either going to go to a team desperate to get into the contending phrase. I mean, unless Oklahoma City or like Toronto could be the dark horse to go out there and try to get him, because Toronto might want to like be, hey, here's Bruce Brown. We're trying not to lose Bruce Brown for nothing. So how about Bruce Brown and Chris Boucher and a couple second round picks for Cam Johnson and salary filler. That's always a possibility. Well, I think Dorian Finney-Smith legitimately would have to go to a contending team, or a team like Cleveland or OKC. Houston's another one that I could see him going. Even Memphis could be a team there. Outside of that, maybe, and for another team for Cam Johnson or Dorian Finney-Smith is Sacramento. They could say screw Kevin Huerter and package like Kevin Huerter and Trey Lyles for Cam Johnson or Dorian Finney-Smith, or just straight up trade Kevin Huerter for Dorian Finney-Smith. Just keep in mind.